Okay, so in the last, I think, roughly 10 minutes, I would like to share about the soft skill part, the so-called how come some lawyer more expensive part, okay? Uh, Again, I still find this part even more important, uh, even though I spend most of time on the system part, because to a lot of colleagues, finding the information, understand how it works, not that easy. So I think I spend some time here. And I hope you see some tools like, wow, there's an HSA tool, there's our association tool that you can find the data requirement, etc. So, but if you still have problem, you can feel free to email us. Go to our website. Then we were able to help you more, answer your question as well, like that. Okay, and then what's the soft skills about? Okay, to me, because I worked like 25 years regulatory already, working all these pharmaceutical device, different company before, including notified body. If I interview, I will look at these four things, for a candidate. Number one is the knowledge that in terms of academic qualification, ideally, you have a health-related or engineering-related qualification, because if you are a pharmacist, to deal with drug regulatory, good, you are pretty well equipped. If you deal with medical device, you are engineering, particularly biomedical engineering, you are totally related to medical device. So that will be the relevant qualification. But don't get it wrong, in my career, I train up a lot of other regulatory professional, and their background is like business, other stuff. My two secretary work for me. I already train up regulatory. They now work as a regional regulatory already. So even a secretary can do it, So to me, don't feel like it's only for some, but this will help you, definitely. It's a good starting point. Of course, another knowledge is a regulatory understanding. Today, I hope at the first part of the discussion, you can see, how the regulatory system works, what's the requirement, criteria, etc. Okay, so that's some understanding. And then the skill, okay, you can see this pretty detail on the data because there's so many documents. You need to make sure they are in order, fit the requirement like that. And sometimes you have many projects that you need to deal with, so you have sort of project management skill. And this one is difficult, which is a stakeholder management, that you need to work with your commercial team, and they may not understand the regulation. You tell them, regulatory approval, you have these 5 steps, 10 tests, 5 documents. They don't care. They just, when I will get approval, Sometimes they don't have a patience to understand. And then in terms of regulator, also important stakeholder, not easy to manage, because regulator, they are not here to give you flexibility. They are here to safeguard and protect the citizen. So, they may not like all the creative idea you're talking about. They will go straight to, do we have that? Do we have that? No this, etc. So, you need to justify if you have a different classification or different documentation requirement like that. And there's a risk management element there as well, because there's a product recall, adverse event situation you are managing. Negotiation, I think, is a lot. You can tell my style. I like negotiation in terms of definition, classification, everything. So that's I think, is an important skill. Of course, you should have ideally have experience. The more, the better. If you don't have now, and I hope you're working in some kinds of medtech company, then you may have a chance to touch some registration project. If not, then you may need some internship, some registration project to build your experience. Again, please contact our association. Sometimes we have an internship and some project opportunity, because we are teaching in university. Sometimes we may create opportunity like that for you to build experience. And of course, network, unlike the BCS, they create a lot of face-to-face event. You can meet friends, including people in the medtech field, maybe regulator, maybe some registration expert. We also will do some event together, possibly also inviting BCS to cooperate as well. So, build your network. You cannot always in the office just to learn your regulatory stuff. Okay, I still like to ask question. That may be possibly my last question. What soft skill more important to you as a regulatory? This answer, I try to talk to many regulatory people, the senior regulatory people, after they work for so many years, like me, which skill they found that, wow, if I recruit a person, that skill very difficult to find. And it's quite important, most important from their angle, like that. Have a guess, what would that be? And this is based on my own survey, not a so-called official answer. Do we have an answer yet? Wow, it seems every skill important. Okay, but again, no correct answer. But I want the team to aware from our own regulatory people or all regulatory people experience, we actually found the stakeholder management more important and more difficult because we are dealing with many people. Like you may remember, we deal with many functional teams, quality, supply chain, commercial. We deal with headquarter people, regional people, country people. We even need to deal with external, like regulator, testing lab, etc. Then super many stakeholders. So, when you go for interview, take a note, people may challenge or they may want to say more about how you manage stakeholder. Okay? And how to work with and manage RA, if you are not RA, you are a boss, you're managing RA team. The education is important, provide them the product education. I see a lot of company, they don't provide, and that's bad, your RA team is not equipped. And you should create a culture that always an option in terms of classification, approval pathway, etc. So don't ask your RA, what is my classification? You should ask RA, what options I have. Tell me 2 or 3 options, the pros and cons. Then RA may answer you that way, rather than, oh, your product is medical device, class 2, just like that. How to predict approval time is also important. Normally, it comes from few aspects. Number one, you need to benchmark with the industry. Industry norm to get a Singapore registration may be 10 months. How do you know that? You should network, like joining BCS or ARPA event, meet more people like that. Because these kinds of information won't put in the website. So you need to meet more friends. So some industry benchmarking. Another thing, you need to look at your own documentation quality. Wow, industry take 10 months. My documentation quality seems good, match everything. So I believe I will able to do at least industry standard. But no, my documentation quality not that good. A lot of report missing. Then maybe you cannot commit 10 months. You may need some more time for negotiation on like that. So approval time is based on these kinds of interpretation. Okay, another important factor is how's your approval history in your own company. My Singapore registration approval last year is how many months. So this year I predict, based on our own way, our experience, is that, similar to last year or what? Okay, and I think this one, now our team should not be lonely. And you should not work alone. You should have regular meeting. If they don't meet you, you start a meeting to talk to your R&D, promotion, i.e. the marketing people, supply chain, etc. to align all your timeline, projects, etc. Okay, so if the team don't talk to each other, if you're a boss, you should be worried. Maybe they say, yeah, we talk to each other on the meeting, but you really see they really share the timeline and then align all the milestones together. That's important. As I mentioned before, many soft skills are important. So one of the ALPA webinar coming up is called, we have a chapter called RA Manpower chapter. So we have one of the talent search firm, Ambos, managing this chapter for us. And there will be, uh, how to do recruiting, what soft skill important. So if you're interested, again, you can go to our alpaedu.com. Don't just Google it because it's a new website. You cannot Google the right thing. You just need to type the website and go there. alpaedu.com. And then there are many chapters you can select. Maybe you can join the Manpower chapter. They will have more soft skill training, including the stakeholder thing for you to join. Okay. Okay, that will be my last slide, and I hope the team, after this roughly 1 hour sharing, you will agree RA roles critical or pay them more salary, and maybe they are dangerous. Okay, in terms of approval, there are 3 criteria: efficacy, safety, quality. Super important. Okay, if you forget anything, it's okay. Don't forget this. 3 criteria: efficacy, safety, quality. If you fit this criteria, you get approval. And there's 5 steps you may consider. And you can see life is getting a little bit transparent now. You have tools to help you the classification. You have the tools to find what is the documentation requirement, like that. So I think that's our slide, and thank you for your time today, and we look forward to share more with you on a future webinar. And I think BCS also have more exciting webinar. We are supporting them, like the European one, etc., also coming. So thank you again for your time, and I hope you find it helpful.
Thank you so much, Jack, for that really, really insightful talk. I'm sure all the attendees agree here with me that it's a very informative one. I will for sure, next time I look at an alcohol wipe, I'm going to remember this talk for sure.
Thank you.
So moving on, we have received a lot of interesting questions, and I think they're waiting for your answers.
Okay.
We have received them during the registration and now also during the talk. So starting off with them, one question that's very interesting for startup companies is that when should a startup actually engage with the regulatory body? And is it when they're thinking of starting clinical trials or much earlier during product development phase?
Thank you, Sujaya. That's a very important question, and I'm really glad the team, asking this important question, because sometimes it's too late to know or involve regulatory. That could be disaster. I tell you the problem first, and then I tell you the solution. When you design your product, and then you pass all the tests, and then you start thinking about, talking to regulatory authority, or you regulatory. Sometimes too late. You just realize, oh, I passed the test, good. My product's safe or whatever. But then you realize, oh, I cannot launch my product in China. You know why? Because there's a China standard, national standard I need to follow. Huh? I didn't know that. Then what? I need to test my product, redesign again? Yes, because there's a China standard you need to follow. And then there's also a Japanese industrial standard, JIS, you need to follow. If not, you cannot go Japan market. Then, to come back to your questions, Sujaya, is you should have this regulatory input, consideration, at the very beginning of your concept phase. You know, okay, I want to solve some problem. I need to design something. That's how I can impact and help the patient. Then what is the regulatory constraint or standard I need to follow? Because you are not just doing pure innovation. You are doing a medtech. You are not doing a soft drink. Just good taste, good. So you need to start think about this regulatory thing. If not, you know, you will really need to redesign, retest, and retest again. That's nightmare to a lot of company. So my quick answer is involve RA at the right beginning, even concept phase, like that. So that will be my quick answer. Thank you.
Oh, that's it. So would you actually suggest meeting up with a regulatory consultant at the beginning of, I mean, when you're thinking about their startup company right at the start?
Yes, but you know, this is maybe another training is, I think there are many consultants, no matter regulatory, no matter management consultant, no matter R&D consultant, there's a lot. And the interesting thing is, every consultant have a different story. They may say, your product can be medical device. No, your product should be drug, or you should register your product this way or that way. So, you know, you should engage a consultant, and maybe you can engage a number, talk to them to see which is a good one. But most importantly, you should know something. You know, you cannot just, hey, this consultant said that, and this guy is like so experienced, he must be right. Listen to him. That's it. You know, that will be the direction of the company. No, you are the boss. You are the R&D team head. You should have some knowledge. Like today, oh, I thought I can go anywhere I like. I want my product medical device, not drug, not household product. How I do it, you know, that may be the way you talk to consultant. What, and you have absolutely no idea, and then just listen blindly like that. So that may be how to work with them.
That's right. Okay. So the next one is one of the most upvoted questions is how frequently are the regulatory rules revised or revisited?
That's very, I call it a sad answer. The answer is, you know, it depends on market. Why I say sad is a lot of workload because it's like changing every quarter. That will be my quick answer. So you feel like, my God, life so unstable. But please understand, you know, imagine your mobile phone. Do you see your mobile phone? They only launch a model every 4 years. No, they launch a new model even every month. You see a new laptop, new mobile phone, new watch, isn't it? So you know your technology is evolving. How can a regulation stick with the same definition, same whatever technology background for years or even for 1 year? They just cannot cope with that. They keep on coming up with a guidance document. Wow, my God, nowadays everything Wi-Fi. Now no more Wi-Fi, they Bluetooth. Now no Bluetooth, they are using different technology or everything on cloud now. Wow, so regulator life also tough, you know. This technology is getting too crazy. So regulation change like every quarter. If not totally big change, at least every little change. So many guidance coming up like that. And that's why one of the service in our association is we on and off will roll out some news to alert the team member as well.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Thank you.
How critical is a medical device design, its impact basically in the regulatory approval? So how important is the medical device design?
Definitely important because your design essentially impact the classification, i.e. the class 1, 2, 3, or 4. How does it work? You know, is it active or not active? Go into body for how long? You know, is it exchange energy? All that kinds of thing. So that impact the classification, and of course the approval time will be significantly different if you are class 1 versus class 4. Class 1 you launch tomorrow. Class 4 you can take more than 1 year or longer to get approval, not to mention the documentation preparation time. So the design is critical. That's why again, involve regulatory at the beginning so that they can give guidance to you to have a design which is good enough for the user, but registerable. Something can be registered like that.
Okay. So we have another question, two similar questions revolving around artificial intelligence. So they would like to know, what are the regulatory considerations that are specific to medical devices that incorporate AI?
Right. This is a very hot topic, and you can see actually Singapore government pretty proactive on this one. I have 2 points for this answer. Number one is still an evolving area because AI is still a very broad topics. You know, inside AI there are so many things. Every country deal with AI differently. That's the tough news. And some country, including Singapore, they have guidance document to help you. What kinds of documentation they may be looking for, maybe what kinds of tests they are looking for, like that. So you need to deal with different country a little bit different. And that demands a lot of negotiation as well if the country don't have a guidance at the moment. But the most so-called critical part or important part now is 2 aspects. Some aspect related to the safety, as always, you know, and the aspect which is related to the privacy, because everything go to the cloud, and then you know the data security privacy is a big issue nowadays. You know, you can see Singapore have some data privacy challenge in last year at least, and then you know, an AI to regulator. Let's imagine a product, and I see this product a lot. Let's say you have what's it called? You have an X-ray machine, X-ray diagram of your body. In the old time, you use your eye to check anything wrong inside your X-ray film. Now they need a computer to do it. They're so intelligent using AI. They will spot the problem for you. So in second, and they can work 24 hours. So you know it's a good deal. You know this computer, this software with X-ray machine 24 hours a day in high accuracy. So you know people like this product maybe, but the regulator will worry. What if this software go wrong? You know, software can go wrong, right? They silly circle something, or they don't circle anything. Because you know, difficult to get that kinds of error, but computers sometimes can, you know, they don't circle. Then, you know, nothing come up, you know, all that kinds of thing. Then, you know, it's a nightmare like that. Because once a software have a problem, all these 24 hours, they screen 1,000 X-ray film, all invalid. The scale of the problem is huge, you know. All these 1 week, 10,000 X-ray film, all patients' result is wrong. Nightmare. So the risk management is huge because it's not human intelligence, it's artificial intelligence. It's not that so-called well established. So the risk management part, if this system die for some reason, will there be any double check and double check and double check so that the risk is lower, all that kinds of things. So to come back to your question, the risk management, the privacy part will be the major concern from the regulator.
See. Just keeping time in mind, I think we'll do one last most upvoted question, just as a wrap-up question. A device is approved. If a device is approved in one of the ASEAN country, does it actually shorten regulatory process in other ASEAN countries as well?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes, it's always quicker because most of the country approval, they as a regulator, imagine you are a regulator. That other country approval, they're based on what? They are also based on efficacy, safety, quality. So somebody already review it and get a confidence. I'm good. I'm happy about efficacy, safety, quality. I give approval. So you are a regulator in other countries, you will get a better confidence. Okay, somebody, my peer, done it already. Particularly tough regulator, sophisticated. I don't say sophisticated, but well-established regulator, because some regulator, they only take reference country as a reference. But some regulator, they review all raw data, because they have a more resource, bigger team, like that, like US FDA, like Europe, they have a whole building of experts to review your file. They read all the raw data. If US approval, Europe approval, Australia, Japan, Canada, this is 5 major reference countries. If they approve, most of the country in Asia, they like it, they love it. The approval will be, cannot guarantee, but it will be easier. In ASEAN, of course, if you got an ASEAN approval, among ASEAN, they know each other. So I think that's also give them the confidence. So that's come back to your question. It definitely help for that reason. The confidence and also the efficacy, safety, quality, reassurance like that.
Thanks, Jack. That was really, very helpful. With this, I would like to close this session just because keeping time in mind. So thank you, Jack, for sharing all your invaluable information regarding the regulations in Asia. And thank you for all the attendees to actually stay over more than an hour with us. We hope you enjoyed the session as much as I did. And we'll be having 2 more chapters covering the American and the European regulations in mid of June and first week of July. So please stay tuned for these details on our website. And for those of you who we couldn't get the questions to, we will try and answer all your questions and get back to you with the post-event details. So please do watch out for all your answers for the questions. Thank you once again, Jack, and all the attendees, and hope you'll have a great day ahead.
Thank you. Have a good day. Nice weekend. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you, PCS.